Dominic Berger, you believe in apartheid as a way of life?
Yes, I do.
Why?
In South Africa.
Why is that, sir?
Because the race, which is in a lesser state of development, is by far in the majority here.
South Africa's apartheid era saw nearly 50 years of iron-fisted racial segregation. It was enforced through legislation by the National Party governments, the ruling party from 1948 to 1994. By the 1980s, the anti-apartheid movement started gaining momentum.
Heavy security was even tighter today following the latest in a series of terror bombings.
Serious political violence became a prominent feature of South Africa.
We should defend our country in the best possible manner.
Violence that 3 decades later still has an unforgettable face and name: Eugene de Kock, aka Primeval. Last week, Eugene de Kock was granted parole after spending 20 years behind bars, a decision that, given de Kock's murderous past, has been met with all kinds of emotions.
He's not just a killer, he was at the forefront of setting this country alight.
Operating out of Lakpas, a farm 15 miles west of Pretoria, de Kock served as the commander of South Africa's secret death squads. Throughout the 80s, he terrorized the anti-apartheid movement. He tortured activists with gruesome dedication and murdered by the dozens. His brutality was eerily calculated, tearing families apart, removing mothers and fathers from their children. But his reign came crashing down in 1994.
One of the most important moments in all African history.
The end of apartheid in South Africa, and the beginning of the right for everyone of age, no matter what color, to vote.
After his arrest, de Kock confessed to more than 100 acts of murder, torture, and fraud. He was granted amnesty for most offenses, but was jailed for 6 killings and handed 2 life sentences, plus 212 years. From the American perspective, his release seems unconscionable. But in South Africa, a country that's still tense, where old scars have yet healed, there's an eagerness for reconciliation. Over the years, de Kock has displayed remorse, begging for forgiveness, and even meeting with the families of his victims.
You really look at this guy and you think, my goodness, am I really face to face with this killer?
But he wasn't released simply for good behavior. South Africa's justice minister cited an interest in nation building, hoping de Kock will continue to assist investigations into unsolved apartheid cases.
From the top ku justice noma singathi kona ku wrong sifika guilty sifika wrong ukuthi kona why bamkhipha ngoba wabulala abantu banyamalala kodwa but asinayo ipower esingayenza. There's nothing we can do.
Of course, many in South Africa condemn his release, and understandably so. And it's hard to imagine that such a personification of evil would regain freedom here in the U.S. But the comparison is difficult. South Africa remains in heavy repair mode and is obviously considering all their options to close out such an ugly chapter of their history.